Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a hot minute, but honestly, I don't even want to make any excuses. I've simply just been lazy and haven't had the motivation to get up and actually record anything. I've had a few ideas on my mind, but just simply did not want to plan them or record them. Today, I feel like it's going to just be a rant as a form of therapy for myself, because that's what I wanted to make the podcast for in the first place. It's for me. So hopefully you guys don't mind this episode today. My hair is greasy. I need to shower. My laundry is unfolded. My apartment's a mess, but the messiness of my life is just going to coincide and relate to this episode more, so consider it a theme. I just don't even know what has been going on with me. I've been going through these mood swings, basically just waves of depression. So I will be sad one day, happy the other. It's just like highs and lows and not really anywhere in between, which is usually where I feel safe and secure and there's some kind of routine going on, but it's just been a little crazy and a little stressful. But I promise I do have some more structured episodes that I have coming your way. I have a few that I really want to record with friends, but I just haven't had the motivation. Again, it's not their fault, it's my fault to coordinate those episodes with them. I have one coming up on whether or not you're dating a narcissist. That one I'm excited for. I have an unpopular opinions one coming, and I also want to do one on body image and body positivity. So those are some to look out for. But anyways, I just want to give you guys a little update. This one is going to just be mainly about myself, which sounds really sad. But mostly my friends are my listeners, so if you guys want a life update, here it is. So as far as a job goes, still nada. I've been rejected from quite a few jobs or have been ghosted, and it's just a reality I'm trying to stay positive about. And it doesn't help that I'm seeing all these TikToks and articles about recession and how you should probably not quit your job right now. But honestly, it's been helping my mental health. So if you are thinking about it, I still say you should do it. With that said, I am definitely having money problems. It's the holiday season. All I want to do is go shopping, which sounds like the last thing I should worry about. I've been gracious enough and lucky enough to have a partner that has been helping me and supporting me. So yeah, I've just had to cut back on the luxuries like shopping for myself and spoiling people. I love gift giving. It's my love language to other people, not necessarily for myself, but I love giving gifts. Speaking of that, it was just my boyfriend's birthday this weekend, and I threw a surprise party. It was so much fun. He was so shocked. He had no idea, and that just made me feel happy and more motivated for the rest of this week. Just seeing how happy he was sparked a little something in my heart, and watching him open his gifts was so fun. I got him pretty thoughtful gifts, I would say, and I also made a little video for him with all his friends. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think it's such a special gift, and it's definitely something he wasn't expecting. I almost made him cry. I don't know why, but when we watched the video back, I mostly cried for most of it. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm so glad with how it went. But that's such a far tangent on my job update. But going back to that, I do have a few interviews lined up, so I'm keeping my head up high. I am just hoping that they go well. I'm going to prepare for them, and yeah. I have been also trying to start a little social media content creation side hustle. So it's something I'm still doing research about, but it's basically called user-generated content. And basically I would just make videos for a bunch of different brands, showing off their products and basically doing their social media for them, but through the lens of a real person and not something that was brand made or something made by a largely known influencer. It seems like a pretty cool opportunity. It's very freelance, so there's no guarantees, but I have done my research and I think I'm gonna try and start that out as a side hustle because God knows everyone is struggling right now, and all I want to do is buy stuff for people, which sounds like the least of my worries, and also pay rent, but that's a different issue. Anyways, so today I'm just gonna kind of talk about everything that's been on my mind, and yeah, also the highlight of my week was definitely my boyfriend's birthday, so don't need to do that one this week, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It's basically an homage to myself. This is basically my journaling, but with me talking. All right, let's get into the episode. So I kind of jotted down some of the topics that I wanted to talk about, but this episode could really go anywhere. It's basically just showing you how scattered my brain is right now. But nonetheless, here we go. So the first thing that I was thinking about this morning was the Christmas oh my god, I can't talk. The Christmas blues. I'm like tripping over my words. I literally just got off of like a weird phone screening interview, so I don't have any good words left, which is probably not a great idea to record your podcast right after, but anywho, there's a thing that I like to call the Christmas blues, and if you know me, you know that I just absolutely love Christmas. It is my favorite holiday. I love the ambiance. I love everything about it, the decorations, the feel, the music, the movies, just everything about it makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. But it is also accompanied by a sad feeling as well. Like, I love you, but I also hate you Christmas, where I feel like there's been so many times where I've taken for granted the actual day of Christmas, and I don't know if this is an only child thing, but I always grew up without having siblings to hang out with or play with on Christmas. So I just feel like a lot of the times my Christmases have been lonely, and it's more of the Christmas season that I love. And to be fair, I'm also jealous of all the Christmas movies and the families. I just feel like my family dynamic was never like that, and I think it's a little bit different now that I am dating somebody. His family's a little more traditional, I would say, in the sense of how they celebrate Christmas, and he has a sister with kids, so there's just a little more magic in the Christmas now. But I also feel like because I watch all these movies and I also watch family vloggers, or I used to, like, religiously, and I just saw how different family dynamics were and how these kids had just like the most magical Christmas, just made me a little bit sad in a way that I'm like, I never experienced that. And it's not even just like the presents. I don't know if this is making any sense, by the way, but I was just always jealous of having like your siblings there to hang out with, both your parents, just happy to watch your kids open presents on Christmas. And I don't know, like, a lot of tragedies have happened on Christmas, which makes me believe that the Christmas magic isn't real and it's just another day, which I know it is. I'm fully aware. But I don't know, like, as I grow up, it's like the holidays make me sad but also happy. Like, there have been so many like deaths recently and just like many things that make the holiday season like a feeling where you're smiling, but you also have a tear coming down, and not necessarily of joy. Plus, everyone has been having money problems in this economy, so it's not like they can provide for their kids as much or give them the Christmas that they wish, and that part makes me sad. And people just don't seem to be as giving or as happy as they used to be since COVID, so I feel like that cheer and joy is also gone and like kind of stripped away. One of the most magical holidays there's left, so I don't know, a part of that makes me so sad, and I don't even know if this means anything or is going anywhere, but I have such a love-hate relationship with Christmas. Like, everything about it I love, like the fantasy of it and everything, and I always wanted to grow up and have that for the family of my own, which I'm hoping I can do. But with just the family dynamic I grew up with, I never got the picture perfect Christmas, which I know not many families experience. It's just something that you just see on social media and in movies and other media in general. But yeah, I just have such a love-hate relationship, and the hate is kind of overweighing the love for it this year. And I feel like people just don't care as much anymore. And I know not everyone celebrates Christmas, but I don't know. It just kind of makes me sad. So like when I hear Christmas music, like it makes me happy, but then a part of me just wants to cry at the same time. I don't know, but hopefully if I have the means to have children one day, or change my mind about it, or have enough money to support a human being, I would love to just make Christmas a special time and have them love it as much as I do. So yeah, I know a lot of people feel that way about Christmas, but I don't know. It's just been something that's on my mind lately, and I don't know if it's because I'm just like becoming more adult and just knowing more things about adulthood and the reality of certain things. But yeah, I really do want to like spoil everyone I know, but it's obviously not feasible. But I think I'm gonna make Christmas cookies for my friends this year because that's all I can afford to think of slash do. But yeah, that is my Christmas blues rant. So I also want to pride myself in watching some new classics. Again, I've had time on my hands. I literally sound like I don't do anything all day, but trust me, a lot of the day is me crying or reading something that makes me cry. But I grew up watching really like bad movies. Like I didn't watch too many like classic movies, like award-winning movies, I mean. And I mostly just stuck to a lot of Disney original movies, Disney movies, the really bad chick flicks, like the ones that weren't even written well. Like I'm not talking about Clueless and Legally Blonde. Like those were actually good stories. Like the ones that are really bad, like the Tyra Banks one, Life Size, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. That one's pretty bad. The Lizzie McGuire movie, stuff like that, like the bad ones. And I basically just like grew up loving those. So I hadn't seen a lot of the classics. Like, for example, Lord of the Rings, I just watched probably like a year into dating my boyfriend, and it was actually really good. It's not something I would watch on my own like before I met him, but he absolutely loves it. And I actually thought it was one of the best series ever that I saw. Not series, but trilogies I've ever seen. I don't know. It was actually, I was pleasantly surprised. Did not really love The Hobbit, guys. It was a little more boring than The Lord of the Rings, but that's okay. It was still good. It was still really cool. And I feel like I've gotten more of an appreciation for how good things are filmed in these movies. So I love that. I recently just watched Goodfellas as well, probably like a few months ago. And it was probably one of my top 5 favorite movies. It was so well done. And usually I'm not one to love mafia, that kind of violent crime type of movie, but it was actually so good, and it's definitely a classic, and I understand why now. I get the hype. So if you haven't seen that, Goodfellas is such a good movie. I would recommend it to anybody. Another one that I recently watched that I liked was called Seven, and it's the one with Morgan Freeman and I think, is it Leonardo DiCaprio? I'm so dumb. It's Morgan Freeman and, no, it's Brad Pitt, I think. Yeah, it's Brad Pitt. Not the same person, but that one's basically a true crime about there's a serial killer on the loose, and every kill is basically one of the 7 deadly sins. So Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt basically just try to solve that together, and their dynamic is really good. I feel like for the time that it was filmed, it was done so well. So shout out to that. Another classic movie that I hadn't seen that probably everyone has seen before. Why can't I think of the name now? I feel like I should have written these down, but again, I'm just like ranting with what's off the top of my head. I watched Step Brothers. Not a classic. It's not a classic like Goodfellas, but it's a Will Ferrell movie. Everyone's probably seen it, but honestly, after watching Elf a long time ago, it was the first Will Ferrell movie I've ever seen, and I absolutely hated it. I know it's a lot of people's favorite Christmas movie, but it actually makes me sick. Like, I think it's so unfunny and just, I don't know, the humor in it is not quite my vibe. But it's basically, I hate adults that act like children, which is basically what Step Brothers is, but hear me out. Like, Elf was absolutely so cringy to watch, and not even the good cringe that I get from these Disney originals. It just made me, like, actively hate Will Ferrell, so anytime I saw him, I was, like, not interested in his movies, and I think he was in, I don't know if it was Adam Sandler or... No, it was Will Ferrell in Anchorman, which I saw, and it was funny, but not that funny. But I saw Step Brothers literally last night, and it was actually pretty funny, and I actually enjoyed his humor. Again, Step Brothers has like the old guy pretending like he's a child humor in it, which parts of it I didn't like, where they just acted like children and ransacked a house, like stuff like that, where people just like ruin things in a mall or a public place or their house and just break shit because they're acting like kids. Like, that's not funny to me. But the other stuff, like the dark humor and like the dirty innuendos as kids and adult, like that stuff I find funny. But anyways, one of the first Will Ferrell movies I actually liked and watched for the first time. So I enjoyed that. And yeah, I think I'm just like getting into more classic movies. I want to familiarize myself with those. All the Sandra Bullock movies. Not her. Oh my god, I'm literally so dumb. I was thinking of Julia Roberts, but Pretty Woman, such a good movie. I absolutely loved it. It was so funny, and that's just like the kind of movie I love. So if you have anything similar to Pretty Woman that you can recommend to me, please let me know. Also, same thing with, I think it's not Fatal Attraction, because I watched that with my friend. Sleeping with the Enemy, that one's really good. So anything like along the lines of those two movies, early 2000s, 90s, I am here for it. Please give me suggestions because, again, I have time. And just for fun, because I can do whatever I want. You guys are literally going to click out of this episode, but that's fine. I've also been into watching TV shows, binging them, for the lack of a better word. Just finished From Scratch. Don't even talk to me about it. It was so depressing and sad, and even more sad when I realized it was a true story and it actually happened to real people. So don't talk to me about that one because I'm just gonna cry. So if you want to cry, I would recommend, but if you don't, I would save it for when you do because you definitely will. Another show I just finished. Did I finish it? I can't remember. I've been watching Dancing with the Stars on Disney Plus, and that's always one I've watched. If you guys don't like dancing, that one's probably boring, but people say they don't like Tyra Banks on it, which I see, but honestly, guys, I don't hate her that much on it, but I do prefer like the old host. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, and if this is even relevant or interesting, so I'm just gonna move on to the last topic. Lastly, guys, I don't know if this even counts as a category because it's going to be scatterbrained, but I'm so nervous to travel to Europe for the first time in like a few years later this May. So first, one of my anxieties is telling whatever job hires me that I'm going on like a 2-week trip in May and it's already booked. So that kind of freaks me out. Hopefully they'll just be understanding about it. If you have any tips, like I know you just have to be honest and transparent about it, but let me know, like, what if they say no? What do I do? Because I'm gonna go anyway. But that's not even the main anxiety. So I just haven't been out of the country since 2018. And it's not that I'm nervous about traveling. Like, I don't mind flying at all. Like, that doesn't scare me. And I don't mind finding my way. But the anxiety that I have is basically just, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I will be basically taking the reins because John, my boyfriend, I don't know what I call him in these things, John or my boyfriend, not sure. He hasn't been that far before, so I'm basically planning everything, and I just need a better way to organize and structure our days. Like, I know not every day is going to be planned to the T, so if you guys have any, like, programs or apps that you use to kind of keep all your documents in one place, like all your reservations for hotels and Airbnbs and transportation things, do you think I should keep my phone plan on? Like, should I have data while I'm there? How much of a different language should I learn? We're also taking, I don't know if this is a huge mistake, I feel like it low-key is, but I mean, there's no turning back now because we paid for it, but we're taking in a checked luggage, which is an absolute nightmare for me because the last few trips I've been on, the last few trips I've been on, I always want to just get a carry-on because I like keeping my stuff with me. And again, obviously it's harder when you go on a longer trip and you just live out of your carry-on or backpack, but in this instance, we're going to a wedding, so it makes it a little more difficult because we have a suit, we have a dress, we have different shoes for the occasion, we have stuff that we just want to have, like, a full thing of liquid for, like, we want shampoo, like, blah, 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 all those things. So my worry is that on the smaller planes that we take throughout Europe are going to be freaking not allow us to have the check-in bag. So I'm just like, oh my God, are we gonna have to train everywhere? What's the train systems like? Should I be worried? Because I don't know, I'm just freaking full of stress. So if you guys have any tips on that, let me know, because most of the time I do just travel with a carry-on and there's no problem because you can just take it on with you. But having a checked suitcase makes it 10 times harder. And John's a little more bougie than I am, so he's not afraid to pay extra costs for certain things. But for me, I try to be as frugal as possible on these things. Even though I'm more of a spender in our daily life, he's more of a spender on special occasions like this. Like, he thinks all of it is worth it. And guys, can I just tell you how much it cost to reserve seats on the plane just to make sure we sat next to each other? So we have a stopover in Montreal, so that's a one flight, and then the next flight from Montreal to Rome. And let me tell you, every single time you reserve a seat, it was like $30 for every flight. So like for each of us. So just imagine how much that comes up to, plus our extra luggage, plus we had to get travel insurance because we're smart adults and we're responsible. So had to get that too. I worked at an insurance company. I know it comes in handy. So just imagine just how much more cost that put on top of the tickets itself. Yeah, let it sink in. So hopefully, guys, my side hustle and my job come in clutch, and I just truly need some help and advice and just a better way to structure our itineraries for the day. I don't want to fucking pay someone to do that. I know you can do that, but I'm literally a struggling adult right now. So if you have any good tips about that, let me know, just because this will be the first trip where I fully take the reins. When me and one of my best friends went on a trip to Thailand and Japan, she kind of took most of the reins. Like, I was just along for the ride, having a good time. So I didn't have to deal with like the stress or any of the reservations or pulling out the right information or ID, all that jazz. So this will be my first adult trip where I'm the one telling everyone where to go. And by everyone, I mean my boyfriend. So wish me luck. But that's another thing I'm kind of low-key stressed about. But you know what? I'm confident in my traveling experience, but I think I'm just freaking out now because I don't have a job and it's gone on my credit card. So rest in peace. If you guys also have any side hustle that I can do for you guys working from home, please let me know. I have experience. This is my sales pitch of my experience to you guys. I don't know if you will, because most of the people listening have their own jobs that they don't like. So anyways, whatever. If this is the off chance where you need someone to do something for money, I'll literally come over and clean your bathroom. Let me know. Anyways, I hope you guys somewhat enjoyed this episode. It was very scattered and not organized whatsoever, but I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys and catch up and let you know what was on my mind. So I hope you guys tune in the next couple weeks for some more planned out episodes that are a little more thorough in the planning. So I will talk to you guys then. Have a great week. Bye.